What if I told you the most successful marketing campaign in human history convinced billions of people to literally consume poison? A substance that kills 3 million people globally, destroys families, and costs the global economy $250 billion a year in things like healthcare and lost productivity every year. And yet somehow you've been conditioned to see it as something glamorous, something desirable, something that's going to make you have a good time. Welcome to the biggest psyop in human history. So let's start with James Bond. He's the biggest figure of kind of sex appeal, danger, sophistication, and we all know the line, vodka martini, shaken, not stirred. You probably said that along with me in your mind. It's so ingrained in our culture. In 24 films, James Bond drinks 109 drinks. And yes, I watched all the movies, and yes, I counted them. So that's about 4.5 drinks per movie. So if James Bond were a real character and he continued his drinking like that, he would have some serious liver damage and probably be an alcoholic and be dead by his third mission. And yet this fictional character has become the kind of blueprint for masculinity and sophistication. And millions of men around the world have adopted drinking habits, believing that it makes them more attractive, more sophisticated, gives them a bit of courage, and will make them more Bond-like. And then there's Don Draper from Mad Men. He's another kind of cultural icon that just drinks constantly whilst, magically maintaining this peak performance. And, love it or hate it, the show kind of glamorizes that 3 martini lunch, kind of making alcoholism look like an executive privilege. Now, make no mistake, there is a whole celebrity machine around this. We celebrate the functional alcoholics, the outliers that somehow thrived despite chronic addiction. There's Ernest Hemingway, who drank a bottle of whiskey a day. Frank Sinatra and the Rat Pack, turning like alcoholism into entertainment. There's Charlie Sheen. We all know, Tiger Blood, winning. I mean, thankfully he's got his life back together, but you know what I mean. And then there's Keith Richards, who is somehow still alive. And then you watch late night talk shows and you have people on there that, joke about their wine problem or talk about drinking stories or a time they were blackout drunk. And the audience will laugh. This is what passes for entertainment. And I don't really know when chronic addiction and problems became entertainment. Then there's things like Instagram and TikTok and all of these kind of places where you'll see celebrities with a glass of champagne in their hand and the caption, living my best life on some yacht sipping champagne. It's there to kind of pull you in, to kind of capture your attention. And there's this association with alcohol, because make no mistake, big alcohol is using the same sort of tactics that big tobacco used in the 50s and 60s. It's the same kind of thing, glamorizing it, funding studies with certain doctors that will say, oh, it's okay. And we all remember that line from the 80s, oh, a glass of wine a day, good for your health. It's nonsense. It's now proved to be total nonsense. And here's where it gets really insidious. The media and the advertising companies, they make alcohol and functional alcoholics kind of seem the norm. But what they're not showing you is that these people are extreme outliers. Like, we all know there's, somebody that will justify their drinking will say, oh, I know Bob, and Bob drank a bottle of whiskey a day, he smoked 60 Marlboros a day, and he lived to be 103. I believe them. I believe you when you say that. And we've all seen Keith Richards, Ernest Hemingway, Charlie Sheen, all of these people that are somehow still alive. They are 1% of 1%. You are not them. You cannot live like that. You are not 1% of 1% of people that genetically can just somehow survive. Also, let's not lose sight of the fact that these people are multi-millionaires, that their life is probably in the toilet, apart from when they're on either on stage, or they're in some award show, or they're on a talk show. They're not in danger of losing their home. You think that they're okay because their life isn't collapsing around them, whereas if you actually knew them, and I have known a number of people that are in the public eye, no one like Charlie Sheen, but I have known some people like this that outwardly are fine, but then you go around their house, or you go and see them, or you do a call with them, and they are in real trouble. Mentally they are in real trouble. And what you're not seeing is the hundreds of thousands, millions of people that cannot cope with the amount of alcohol and poison they're pouring into their bodies, the bankruptcies, the lost homes, the lost families, the kind of collapsing of people's lives that you're not seeing, because the 1% of 1%, Keith Richards and Charlie Sheen, are held up as kind of these icons that are aspirational, and you tell yourself, well, they're doing it, so I could probably do it. You can't. I'm here to tell you, you can't. I know that's not a popular, I'm not going to make myself very popular by saying that, but you can't, okay? And if we look at some statistics here, alcohol is involved in 40% of all violent attacks. Think about that. And it is a heavily contributing factor to 50% of divorces. 50% of divorces, alcohol is cited as one of the main reasons. There will be other reasons as well, but again, alcohol is one of these things that is the kind of the kernel of all of this, and then all of the kind of nonsense and our lives fall apart spreading out from that. So alcohol will be a contributory factor, and the other factors like being distant, cheating, whatever, probably stem from the alcohol in the first place. And the final one, alcohol is the third biggest cause of preventable death worldwide. Think about that. It is the third biggest cause of preventable death worldwide. But you're not going to see, these statistics in a Budweiser commercial, are you? The ads are going to show beautiful people at glamorous parties, sipping champagne. The reality is liver cirrhosis, violence, bankruptcy, and family destruction. But the ads will show confidence and charisma. But the reality is slurred speech, poor decision making, embarrassing behaviour. Also, movies show characters drinking in certain situations, and this is where it gets insidious, and this is where you need to have your eyes, your ears, and your brain open. Is alcohol is shown with people in different emotional states, and alcohol is seen as a cure or a soother for all of these emotional states. And your eyes might not see it, but your brain does. So it's kind of normalizing alcohol as the solution to an emotional state. So if you're celebrating, champagne; stressed, wine; heartbroken, whiskey; socializing, beer. We're kind of being programmed to believe that every emotional state needs a chemical to either enhance or soothe it. And it's become so embedded in our culture that if you're not drinking, you're the weirdo. You're the one that's got to kind of make excuses. And again, this is all kind of normalized throughout the media, but it'll be things like, are you okay? Are you pregnant? Are you an alcoholic? You've got to suddenly, you're put on the back foot. You suddenly have to justify yourself. And the assumption is that sober people, they must have a problem. So as you can see, there's a huge machine put behind all of this to get you to drink, and it's shown as glamorous, and it's shown as something aspirational. Again, it's the same shit that the tobacco companies sold us back in the 50s and 60s, knowing what they were doing was terrible. But the alcohol industry globally have a seat, but is worth $1.5 trillion. Okay, so as you can see, where there is a huge amount of money that is at stake here, you can see that you can see how much they want to protect that interest. So with $1.5 trillion, you can do a lot. You can pay for doctors, you can pay for reports, you can pay for the best advertising, you can pay for the best manipulation tactics in the world. So think about that whenever you're putting this alcohol to your lips, because we're human beings and we are susceptible to high level manipulation, and it's also about repetition as well. But if you're armed with some knowledge, you can resist the programming. So as you can see, the biggest psyop in human history was not perpetrated by the CIA. It's not perpetrated by the lizard people from the Pleiades system. It's actually the alcohol industry, and it has played the most perverse trick on us as human beings by making us believe that their poison is actually something that we want to consume, is actually something that's good for us, is actually something that's going to give us something. It's going to make us more desirable. Women will think we're great. I'm sure as if you're a woman watching this, you know sloppy drunk men are not that great. And the truth of it is that life is so much better without it. Life is so much more vibrant. Your relationships are so much better. Everything in your life will improve. Alcohol makes everything in your life worse. There is zero upside to having a drink. Zero. So there we have it. That's going to do it. If you want some help, and if you want to be free from alcohol between sort of 3 to 6 months from now, and you want some help doing that, you want to get back your edge, you want to get back your family, you want to get back to that person that you used to be that was killing it at work, killing it in your business, if you want to double your productivity at least within a couple of weeks, then click the link in the pinned comment below. You'll see a video there. You can book a call with me. We'll have a chat. I'll tell you what it consists of, how I can help you. And if you want to go ahead, great. If not, no problem. All right. Thank you for watching. And until next time, I will see you in the next one.